Hey guys, it's Jennifer from Live, Laugh, Love to Read. Today I'm doing a book review on Tears of the Silenced by Misty Griffin. Yeah, Griffin. So I'm giving this book 5 stars. 5 stars. I know. I can't believe it. I've had several 5-star reads lately and it's amazing. So this book is a memoir, but it read like a fiction book to me. Like her writing style, she's just a really good writer. Now this book is about child abuse and sexual abuse, so if that bothers you at all, you don't want to read this. So I'm going to tell you read the synopsis, then we're going to talk about it. Says, a gripping true story that takes you on the journey of a child abuse and sexual assault survivor turned activist. When Misty Griffin was 6 years old, her family started to live and dress like the Amish. Misty and her sister were kept as slaves on a mountain ranch and subjected to almost complete isolation, sexual abuse, and extreme physical violence. Their stepfather kept a loaded rifle by the door to make sure the young girls were too terrified to try to escape. No rescue would ever come since the few people who knew they existed did not care. Yeah. So, when Misty was 4, I think, her mother married this man who became her stepfather, and both of them quite violent, quite evil people. They moved them out to this isolated mountain out in the boonies, and proceeded to, both of them abused them physically, then the stepfather sexually and physically, and it was just like horrible. They weren't allowed to talk unless they raised their hands. They couldn't talk to each other, the sisters. Her sister, I think, is a year or 2 younger than her. Really bad, really, really bad. And then one day, the stepfather decides they're going to dress as the Amish. Yeah. When Misty reached her teens, her parents feared she and her sister would escape and took them to an Amish community. Devastated to again find herself in a world of fear, cruelty, and abuse, Misty was sexually assaulted by the bishop. As Misty recalls, Amish sexual abusers are only shunned by the church for 6 weeks, a punishment that never seems to work. I knew I had to get help, and one freezing morning in early March, I made a dash for a tiny police station in rural Minnesota. After reporting the bishop, I left the Amish and found myself plummeted into a strange modern world with only a 2nd grade education and no ID or social security card. Yeah. So she only had a 2nd grade to 3rd grade education. They never sent her to school. And at any time CPS came around, they knew enough. The mom said that she was homeschooling them. So she had the books and stuff, and she'd make them read some of it so they could answer some questions, if they showed up. But yeah, so then they get custody. The mom gets custody of her sister, who is mentally unstable. I think they say she's schizophrenic, and she's like a 3-year-old, but she's like 40, She gets custody of her so she can get her disability check. Then they get custody, or I don't know if you'd call it custody, over the stepfather's mother, who's elderly, who is in a home, but they decide they're going to take her in so they can get her disability check. Yeah. And they proceed to abuse them also in horrific ways. This book is very disturbing. It's very enlightening and for me, because I didn't know that apparently in the Amish, they have their own their own world, but when it comes to things like sexual abuse or rape or something like that, they make the okay, say it's a woman that got raped by a man. They make him and her go in front of the elders or the ministers and the deacons and all that, the bishop and all that. And she has to apologize to the man for tempting him. And then the man has to be shunned for 6 weeks to 6 months or whatever. And then he can come back. Yeah. So there were stories in here of the bishop who actually raped Misty when she was a young adult. Her mother and father sent her and her sister to live among an Amish community when they became, 18, 19. And the bishop, who had 9 children, and Misty lived there with them, she found out he was molesting all of his children. And then at one point he was showing her his privates. Yeah, like she would walk into the basement and he'd just be standing there with his fly open and just hanging out. Yeah. And then at one point he did rape her and she went to the police. And that's when she left the Amish. So for me, I did not know that the Amish had this. I knew they had a lot of rules and stuff. But then, and also she talks about there's different sects, S-E-C-T-S, sects of Amish, different, what do they call it, orders, where they have different rules and regulations, and some are really strict and all this, but the one she belonged to was like that. And so, and the police wouldn't do anything. She went to the police about when she was over 18 and she was living with the Amish. She went to the police about her mother and stepfather were still abusing her aunt and her grandmother, and they did nothing because they went out there and they checked on them and they looked fine. Yeah. So they did nothing. So I did not know that when it came to the Amish that the authorities kind of didn't do anything because they know it's like against the, like, for instance, they went to the house to check on the aunt and the grandma, and they said, oh, they looked fine. And she told them, said, you need to look underneath their clothes because they're hitting them underneath their clothes so you can't see the bruises. And they said, we can't ask to look under their clothes because it's against the religion. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. But Misty Griffin went on and she got her GED. She actually became a nurse. And now she's an activist for child abuse and sexual child abuse and with the Amish and all that. So, really good book. It was really good. It kept my attention. I was in shock. I was in disbelief. I was like, what? Anyway, so I'd highly recommend it if you haven't read it. I mean, it's one of those books that has things in it that people don't like to talk about, but people need to know about it because it needs to stop. So if you haven't read this, you need to go read it. Yeah. So before we go, I want to talk about my new haircut. Woo woo. So I got a new haircut. What do you think? What do you think? I think I like it. It's shorter than I've ever been. It's cute. I showed her a picture and I was like, something like this. Go for it, girl. And this is what I got, and I actually kind of like it. She did it where you could actually wear it down too, and it'd be like bangs, but I don't like wearing it like that. I actually like it over to the side. So anyway, here it is. It's cute. Here's the back. It's really short, but I think I like it. Short and sassy. That's all I got, guys. If you like this video, give me a like. And how about a subscribe? Don't forget to check back for more book videos coming up soon. Thanks, friends. I'll see you next time.